Let's check the news. Nathan Cohns has your update from the news studio.
Thank you very much, John, and good morning, everyone. 2 Western Iowa schools were forced to implement safety protocols this week after receiving reported threats of violence. At approximately 9 p.m. on Tuesday, January 16th, the Storm Lake Police Department learned a 12-year-old Storm Lake middle school student had made a threat on January 4th. That's the same day as the Perry school shooting, but it was not reported to law enforcement for nearly 2 weeks. Authorities located and interviewed the student and determined the threat was not credible. Then yesterday, Denison Community Schools was placed on lockdown after receiving a phone call at the high school warning of a potential threat. Officials determined that incident was a swatting attempt where an individual reports a fake disturbance to solicit a significant law enforcement response to disrupt daily activities. In that Storm Lake case, the juvenile has been charged with threats of terrorism, a Class D felony, and the matter was forwarded to the juvenile courts. Law enforcement reminds students that threats of violence towards schools are not a laughing matter and are often met with severe consequences, even more so following that shooting in Perry earlier this month. Looking elsewhere, Iowa Republican Party officials say just over 110,000 Iowans participated in Monday night's caucuses. Party Chairman Jeff Kaufman says it happened when some areas of the state had a wind chill of negative 30 degrees.
We've shown the world we can have a personalized grassroots event, and we can have absolute election integrity, and we could do it all in wind chills that would probably send a whole lot of citizens in a whole lot of other states under the covers.
Only about 15% of registered Republicans voted, the lowest turnout for the Iowa caucuses in 24 years.
Before the 186,000 record that was set in 2016 on a it would be a balmy evening compared to Monday. We were looking at numbers in 2012 and 2008 that were very similar to this.
About 120,000 people voted in the 2008 Iowa Republican Party caucuses, which Mike Huckabee won. In 2012, when Rick Santorum won, there were about 122,000 participants. Kaufman says it was a breach of faith for major media outlets to announce Trump was the projected winner of this year's caucuses before the vast majority of participants had even cast their straw poll vote.
We are certainly showing our displeasure. I'm certainly cautioning the Nevada chair because they've got a caucus coming up as to what might occur. And I have to tell you that's something that should not happen again.
The Iowa caucuses are run by their parties, not state or county government officials. Kaufman and other Iowa GOP officials raised more than $800,000 for the operation of this year's caucuses as well. And the first week of the 2024 Iowa legislative session wrapped up on Friday of last week, and District 11 Representative Brian Best of Glidden is back to releasing his weekly recaps of the legislature's activities. The first week typically pretty slow as Governor Kim Reynolds unveiled key elements of her agenda for the state during the Condition of the State address. Reynolds noted fiscal matters, education, mental health, and more were at the top of her priority list. According to Best, the Iowa Department of Transportation is proposed to receive a $5.8 million increase in highway operations and equipment replacement funding for its fiscal year 2025 budgets. Reynolds aims to expedite income tax cuts, lowering the rate to 3.65%, retroactive to this year, and further to 3.5% by January 1st of 2025. The unemployment tax on businesses is set to decrease by approximately 40% as the Unemployment Trust Fund currently has a balance of $1.8 billion, a substantial surplus. Property tax reductions for child care providers are also being proposed. The governor's Work-Based Learning, or WBL, plan focuses on sustaining those programs and aligning last dollar scholar programs with WPL experiences and high-demand careers. The legislature is also keying in on improving youth mental health services in Iowa. Reynolds outlined a teacher pay proposal aiming for a 50% increase in starting pay to $50,000 and a minimum salary of $62,000 for experienced teachers. The legislature is also pursuing Reynolds' suggestion to eliminate 111 redundant or obsolete boards in the name of government efficiency. Legislative sessions move very quickly following that first week, and Friday, January 19th, already marks the final day for individual senators and representatives to submit requests for bills and joint resolution drafts to the Legislative Services Agency. So following the end of business tomorrow for the legislative session, things are going to pick up very, very quickly. But that is going to be wrapping up your KCIM 8 o'clock news. I'm Nathan Cohns reporting.
Thank you very much, Nathan, for the news update. Once again, you can check out your local news anytime you want. Your schedule pulling up anytime. Download our mobile app and have it on your phone. Just tap the app for news, sports, entertainment. Podcasting, streaming of KCIM anywhere you happen to be. Super easy when you have the mobile app. So look in your app store, search KCIM or Carroll Broadcasting, and download. It's totally free.